Hello, my name is Ramirez Biddle, and I'm here to talk about effective lessons. So, in the book, this book here, um, Educational Psychology, um, the book gives us seven parts of effective lessons: state the learning objective, and orient students to the lesson, review prerequisites, present new material, conduct learning probes, provide independent practice, assess performance, and give feedback, and then provide and distribute practice and review. Now, the book gives a lot of technical terms, and they give you examples. They're great examples. I think they're a little bit more technical than what I would, if I was teaching it to somebody that wasn't very familiar with the education process. I probably would give them a little bit of an easier one. So I picked something in YouTube, and I will put a link at the bottom. It says state goals and objectives, what anticipatory sets, direct instruction, guided practice, closure, independent practice, required material and equipment, assessment, and follow-up. So they give you eight steps. And they're both good. They're both very good. I think that for I will give you a link to the one I found on the internet, which helps clarify some things. So iCivics does a very good job of breaking this down. Here you can see here. This is where they list materials needed. I added pens and pencils because you can't really answer this stuff without pens and pencils. They give you objectives up here at the top, what students should be able to do, know, understand, or practice, create, various ways of saying that. Anticipate, so things that a president might be able to do. Assign, they do have group assignments on here. So here, this is one group assignment, or it could be an independent practice, but I like this for it to be a group assignment. There isn't a right or wrong answer, but it's good to get students' minds going. It's a fun activity. It's good to get them going and share ideas and then share it with the class. Um, Direct instruction. So this is when new material is being talked about, reviewed. New material is now under study. So we're talking about the role. Where does the power of the president come from? Roles and responsibilities. So this would be the students learning the presidential rule book. Let's say they're presidents for the first time, and they're learning the rules. Here is talks a little bit more about the president, and here is information that's not necessarily tied to the presidential powers, but it's important that presidents know this, that it is the Congress that makes the laws. The president either signs them or vetoes the law. So it helps give students, hey, I remember this from back then, but now you're saying that the president is a part of the lawmaking process, but the Congress makes the laws. Well, yes, the Congress makes the laws, but you need the president to sign them into law or to veto the law. So that would be my way of explaining things to the students. This is another part of would be part of direct instruction. But here, I would have a student read one of the four paragraphs. I would have the students read each paragraph, one student read each paragraph, and then I would show them, okay, this is where you need to highlight or underline and why, because this is the most important part of this paragraph. And then I would explain why is it important. What's the juice, what's the meat, what's the guts of this paragraph, and something that you need to carry with you. And then down here, so it talks about what happens if the president dies, and then there's a presidential line of succession. So this is new material that students don't necessarily know. Most students don't necessarily know yet. Even most adults don't know this. But this is my place to tell them, or explain to them, not tell them, but to explain to them. This is the mechanics of the presidential structure given in the Constitution. For on a day's work part 1, this gives out 14 questions. I would do a think, pair, share. Now for me, I would pick out 3 random questions and I would answer one question, give an answer, and then explain to them why did I pick it. And then I would do a whole class practice with 2 more of the questions, and then have the class tell me why they pick it, and then I would tell them why I would pick an answer and explain that. And sometimes, a lot of times, the students usually get this right because you got to give them a lot of credit because they usually get this stuff right. They usually surprise you and get this stuff right. Part 3 in all of a day's work. So this year doing a think, pair, share would still be pretty good. This would still you could do independent practice. I would be okay with doing independent practice. So you have 8 questions here, and so they give you the functions, the answers, and then here are the possible answers up here. Yes, you can do this as a group, but like I said, you'll be totally fine with doing this as independent practice. And then down here, you have a crossword puzzle, and they have 6 questions, and they have 6 answers over here. This one, it starts to get a little bit more real to them because who is the president? Well, they know who's the president, Donald Trump. So they think about how long is the president in power? Well, the president's in power for 4 years. So, hey, we had an election in 2016. The next one is in 2020. Oh, that's in a couple of years. Wow, we're fixing to see another presidential election. So this starts to become more real. And then at the end, iCivics does say for an informal assessment, they give you 2. One's an exit ticket where it says name or responsibility of the president and the power that closely matches it. Another one, I think this is a pretty good one. Now that one is for an individual. They give another informal assessment where there are 18 questions. And there's a class that say yes or no. So that would be, then you would start to get into the close where you would wrap up and restate, hey, these are some things that you guys should have learned today. What did we learn today? And then, tell me about the powers. Explain to me about the powers. Give me an example of what a president can do and not do. All right. Well, that's my explanation of the 7 or 8 steps to effective lesson planning. This has been very helpful to me, and I very much enjoyed reading that part, and looking forward to applying this to teaching in the future. Thank you.